Welcome to the Elephant Tales podcast from Wildlife SOS, where we bring you the intimate stories and behind-the-scenes perspectives with people working to save India's wildlife. I'm Nikki Sharp, Executive Director of Wildlife SOS USA. In the second episode of Elephant Tales, we sit down with the amazing Dr. Yaduraj at our Agra Bear Rescue Facility to chat about the rescue of a precious munchkin elephant named Laxmi. Dr. Yadu is one of our most senior veterinary officers, well known for his magic touch and the patience and compassion he employs when working with rescued animals. He completed his master's in conservation medicine from Murdoch University in Australia and his PhD in India, joining Wildlife SOS in 2009. You can see Dr. Yadu in action in our new Nat Geo WILD series. Dr. Yadu is interviewed by communications and fundraising advisor Suvidha.
Hello everyone, I'm Suvidha. I am the head of communications for Wildlife SOS. Today we are at the Agra Bear Rescue Facility in India with Dr. Yaduraj, who is the Assistant Director, Veterinary and Research. And let's talk about Laxmi and let's find more about her rescue operation. So, Dr. Yadu, how did you come to know about Laxmi?
So we were contacted about this elephant in Mumbai who had collapsed and was not able to get up, and we were asked if we could help. So I went to Mumbai to actually have a look at and treat that elephant, and she did have severe problems. She had severe arthritis, and she had collapsed because of that, and she was developing bed sores. So we were treating her, but while treating her, we saw there's another really obese elephant who used to be close by, restrained to a tree or something, and we were told that the same guy owned both these elephants, and her name was Laxmi. So that's how I got introduced to Laxmi.
Okay, so you were there to treat another elephant, but you spotted Laxmi?
Yes.
And she was clearly overweight?
She was, yes.
Okay, so then who did you contact to know more about Laxmi, and how did the whole process go from there?
First of all, we started speaking with the Mahut, or the keeper, the guy who was working with both these elephants. We spoke to the owner as well, and I asked the owner about the nutrition, what her routine is like, and Lakshmi's routine, of course, what her routine is like, and what does she eat during the day. And what I heard was horrible. So she was a begging elephant, of course, in Mumbai, and her routine was to just walk on the streets from morning to evening, just different parts of the city, and the food she was getting was all wrong, which for an elephant. She was eating a lot of fried stuff, street food from Mumbai, and then I came to know, and then I understood why she's so obese or overweight, and I could also see that kind of sense that she was not very comfortable standing. So I suspected that she is probably already having initial stages of arthritis then.
I heard that she had 100 burgers in a day.
Yes, she did. So there's this thing called vada pav in Mumbai, which is kind of a burger, with the fried potato filled in it. And she was having more than 100 of them actually.
Oh, God.
And this is what we were told by the owner. And she was getting, she was walking into the markets and she was getting all, we have no idea what all she was eating. So, but she was basically eating anything that, people fed her.
Okay, and of course people didn't know what was healthy for the elephant, so
so the people who were feeding her didn't know, the guy who had her didn't know what's good for the elephant, and it was a grave situation finally, health-wise for Lakshmi.
And how overweight was she in terms of pounds, if you can give us an idea?
Pounds were pretty...
or kilograms.
Kilograms,
whatever.
yes,
Yeah.
I work in kilograms. So I remember when we weighed her in Mumbai before bringing her, she was around 5,200, and
Wow.
the elephant, her size should have been maximum 4,000. So I would say she was definitely at least 1,200 kilograms overweight.
Okay, and what problems can an elephant suffer from if they are obese to such a level?
Well, all problems that a person can suffer from if they are overweight, especially more than that actually, because considering the weight of an elephant, if you imagine the elephant's joints taking that much weight all the time, and to complicate the matter, she was walking on tar roads the whole day, which is not good for the elephant at all. So her joints were at the risk of going bad. She could have. She was on the way to what happened to her maid, to Bijli. She was going to have severe arthritis. She was going to collapse one day and probably, had a bad fate. That was the whole issue that I saw.
So was that the moment when you decided to rescue her?
Yes, we knew that we wanted to help her, and the best way to help her was to get her to our center and give her good veterinary care and basically give her good nutrition to start with, and try to reduce her weight and give her a good life as well, because she was in Mumbai and she was in this very crowded place, very out of her natural habitat, or as like any other captive breaking elephant, she was not allowed to have any freedom. So we knew that we wanted to give her a good care, both physically as well as mentally.
So how much was the resistance from the owner's side, or was there a mob at the place, and how would you describe that?
I remember the forest department already filed a complaint because there's a complaint on the owner about Laxmi under Wildlife Protection Act, and the forest department was tracking the owner, but it was just getting delayed because of some paperwork. And one day we were told that the elephant has disappeared, so they had gone somewhere and hidden the elephant, and it took 3 days for the forest department guys again to find her. And they found that the owner was nowhere to be seen. He had basically told his mahout to take the elephant and hide her somewhere. And finally they found the mahouts and Laxmi both in an abandoned factory building, kind of half broken abandoned factory building near the city, inside the city. And that's when they contacted us again saying, we have found the elephant, and you come for a meeting and we'll see if we can do something about this. And that's how I went for the rescue. Well, not for the rescue actually, I went for the meeting. But but thankfully, because I expected doing some treatment for her, so I had carried my medicinal kit with me, and blowpipe just in case, because any time we go for any elephant rescue, any elephant treatment, we anyway carry those the sedation equipment and medicines. So I had that with me, thankfully, and then I went for this meeting, and then we decided together that was the night we had to do it, because there were a lot of. Sorry?
That's a short timeline.
That was a very short time. So we had this meeting in the afternoon, and then the conclusion of the meeting was we had to do it the same night. And we didn't have elephant ambulance then. So I remember running around in the city trying to find a truck. And we went to the place. Thankfully, the people who were with Laxmi, the mahouts, there were 2-3 of them. They didn't have an idea that forest department were clever enough to not let them know that they have found them, and that we are going to do this.
Okay.
So they were unaware. I remember it was kind of a raid. That
I think we can hear the monkeys jumping on the roof.
Yeah. So the forest. So we forest department people told us to wait outside, and they basically stormed in, and. And they snatched the mobile phones from the guys, and then they told us to take over, and so we had this truck ready. We were trying to get Laxmi on the truck, and she was, of course, I don't think she had any experience getting on the truck before or traveling onto a truck, so she was.
I think the monkeys are liking this story.
So she was not ready at all to get on the truck. We tried for about an hour, and everyone started panicking, including the forest department people, which is quite understandable, because they knew how tense the situation was and what would happen if the owner and his clan finds out about about that we are taking the elephant away. So they told us to move from that place where we're trying to load the elephant, and we had no other option. We just decided to walk on the streets and try to get out of the city if we can through the night. And it started raining. It was July in Mumbai, which is a heavy monsoon season. And it was raining, and me and my team, we were just walking on the streets with this elephant in the middle of the night, getting drenched by the rain. And we walked, I think, for about 5 hours. Lakshmi, now I'm pretty sure that she was having some initial stage of arthritis because it was probably hurting her to walk. So she was walking very slowly. So we could actually cover very small distance, even in those 5-6 hours. But we somehow located this small kind of a truck parking area right next to a very busy junction in the city. Thankfully, it was not busy at that time because it was really early morning. It was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock. So and then we got Lakshmi there, and then we decided that we need because she was not getting on the truck, and we couldn't find any place where we could have a ramp.
So you took approximately 3 to 4 hours just to reach the truck with Lakshmi?
More than that. Yes, more than that. We took about 5 hours to just, find a location where, and we were actually still trying to find a location, kind to find a ramp where we can park the truck and, so Lakshmi can walk over the ramp and get into the truck. But we didn't find any. This city is like a very big metropolitan city. It's not, it's all crowded and big roads. So finding a ramp was quite difficult, and we didn't even in the morning. So we decided to use a crane to get around. That was again my first time to use a crane on an elephant. Another first.
Because you tried and she was not getting into the truck.
Yes, she
like
was
how
not
do you even tell an elephant to get inside a truck? Like, what is the process generally?
So we start with putting a lot of treats on the truck. First of all, we actually start with trying to get an elephant comfortable with the new stuff, with our mahouts. So we try to feed an elephant and try to calm the elephant down by talking to the elephant nicely. It may or may not work. We put a lot of treats. We put a lot of fruits, a lot of fodder on the truck, and see if the elephant goes into the truck. But many elephants are just not used to. They have never traveled on the truck before. So the final thing that we have to do is give a small sedative to the elephant, so that the elephant just calms down. It's not as stressed as it was before sedation, and it helps us to slowly kind of guide them into the truck. But of course, we need a ramp for that still. And in case of Lakshmi, we didn't find that ramp. So that was the reason, being very desperate, because it was already a daybreak, so we were kind of desperate, and we decided to use a crane, and we didn't have any crane available, of course, that time. And so there were cranes parked where we were, and the contact numbers were written on the cranes, and we one by one started calling up everyone. This was like 6:30 in the morning. And all those guys, probably were woken up by us, and they all said that they cannot come, this early. They're just not used to working that early, and they cannot reach the location in like half an hour. And we really wanted someone to be there in half an hour if possible. So we came to know that there is this toll plaza about 3 kilometers from where we were. We hired a local vehicle called Auto. And we went there, and we saw a traffic constable, a traffic police guy, and we spoke to him. We explained the situation to him, and he gave us about 3 different numbers of other people who owned cranes. We contacted again all of them. Finally, one of them agreed for a very high amount to come in half an hour, and so we got him there. That was his first experience to handle an elephant for even a crane driver.
I'm sure.
Yes. So, and Lakshmi was I would say, not an easy elephant to because she was stressed and she would just start walking, wandering off, even under the small sedation. And I remember at one point she actually, lifted she actually tilted the crane a bit, and the crane driver freaked out and jumped out of the crane. So we had to calm him down, and then finally, we put those slings on Laxmi. She was sedated. We lifted her up. We got her onto the truck. And when she was settled on the truck, of course, we cannot keep the elephant sedated for long periods, so I had to give the reversal. But she was even more stressed when she found out that she was on a truck, and she started banging around. And then the truck driver got freaked. Of course, he freaked out, and he jumped out of the driving cabin. And then we had to, he said, "Well, I'm not driving the truck. You do whatever you want." And then we had to calm him down, and then got him back. But he drove really well. After that, he understood what we were trying to do. He was just, of course, worried for his truck. But our keepers kind of handled Laxmi after that, and that's how it happened. And then it took us 2 days to reach here from Mumbai.
It was a 2-day long journey.
Yes, it was about 48 hours. Yes.
How did you lure Laxmi to stay calm in the truck for 2 days?
No, I think once she got on the truck, for first half an hour or about first couple of hours, she was kind of stressed. She was moving a lot. I think she was worried about getting hit, like elephants do. But once she understood that she's not getting hurt, and that calmed her down properly, and we were giving her a lot of treats, so she didn't trouble us a lot after probably a couple of hours. She just took her time to settle down on the truck.
If I remember it right, is Laxmi the elephant who snuck her trunk out
yes.
of the truck?
She did, yes. At one time her trunk was very close to the driver's ear. Yeah. And that's why we thought of elephant ambulance after that.
So, Dr. Yadu, what do you think is the status of begging elephants in India, Laxmi being an example for us? How do you think they are treated, and how can we do to kind of stop it?
Yeah, so first of all, elephants are not supposed to be on the streets. That's the first wrong thing. They're not an animal made to be walking on the streets, and when they do end up on the streets, that means they have gone through a very rigorous cruel training to allow them to let people ride on them and do all the begging business. And begging elephant basically means that this is an elephant which just walks on the streets and or gets booked for wedding or shop inauguration and that sort of thing. So they walk miles and miles to get to those locations on the streets. And if they are not booked for something, they just walk on the streets, asking for money and, walking into the markets and feeding on whatever they can. And when people see a begging elephant on the streets, I really want people to understand the background of the elephant and how that elephant has ended onto the streets and why it is so wrong, as I just explained. And I would like to encourage people not to do any entertainment riding on the elephant, because the elephants that do that really suffer a lot.
And you also have a petition.
So we have a separate website for it called refusetoride.org. So people can check out that website to know more about what elephants go through and why we are against this entertainment riding.
Okay. So how many years it's been since you rescued Laxmi?
Laxmi came to us in 2014, so that would like about 6 years now.
6 years. Yeah. And how's she doing now? And what was your focus when you brought Laxmi to the center?
So I remember when she came, because we take our elephants for exercise walks, right? All of our elephants go for exercise walks. And so the next day after she arrived, I remember us trying to just make her walk and because she was so slow, and I think she was just not very used to walking on the natural surface, like natural soil. She was very cautious to walk, and her joints were hurting a bit. So it took us probably a week just to, make her walk for an exercise. And another thing we did was to put her on a special diet to make sure that she loses some weight. and she has lost about 600 kilos now. And but
Wonderful.
but we are still trying to lose more weight. But yeah, now she's okay. She has formed this really good herd with another two elephants, Chanchal and Bijli. She loves them. She likes going on the walks. She likes the opportunity that the walks give her to browse and to play around. The only concern right now is to keep trying to reduce her weight.
Though we have to feed her peanuts while she walks.
Yes,
her
sometimes
motivation.
we do. Sometimes we do have to, yes, to make her walk. Yes.
Yeah. So, how difficult was it for her to switch from burgers to fruits?
It did take her some time to get used to the diet that we give. But yeah, I mean, once she started eating the fruits and she started liking them, I would say that she's a very food-oriented elephant. Talking about how she's doing now, she's one of the easiest elephants to train with positive conditioning because, as I said, she's very food-oriented. And she's also one of our best trained elephants for veterinary procedures for like foot care and blood collection, and you keep giving her small treats and she's all comfortable.
So, is her diet still different from the other elephants that we have?
Yes, so we control the fodder quantity that she gets, and we also give cooked concentrate for all of our elephants. But the composition of the cooked concentrate is a little different for her than compared to other elephants. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if she senses it. I don't know. When I met her, the keeper was telling me a story that she very well understands that she gets different food in comparison to the rest of the elephants, and she is grumpy at times because of
Possible.
that.
She might have had taste of some.
Or she must have stolen like a bite from the other
yes,
elephants.
yeah,
Yeah.
possible. Yeah, I mean that's what she has to do. She has to eat for now. Yeah.
So how much she needs to lose?
I would say at least 400 kilos more.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a long way to go.
It is. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yadu, for your time. This was a great interview, and we got to know a lot of interesting stories about Laxmi. If you would like to support Laxmi and other rescued elephants at our center, please go to our website wildlifesos.org. Thank you.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook at Wildlife SOS India. If you would like to learn more about Wildlife SOS or to give support to the rescue and long-term care of the elephants, bears, leopards, and other wildlife at our sanctuaries, please visit wildlifesos.org. We hope our new podcast series helps brighten your day and warm your heart with the tremendous impact we can make together. Thanks for listening.